It was the first couple of years was tough, but I was still development.
Mr. Taylor.
After starts at 6 p.m.
Good morning.
Hey, Di.
Good morning. All right, it's 8 o'clock and welcome to the Downtown Development Authority meeting, November 11th. And I probably should say Main Street meeting now. So yeah. We've moved that. So have you done roll call, Meredith? You have everybody? Yes. It's the 10th. Sorry, I have 11th on here. Thanks a lot. Am I already started that way today? It is the 10th. Somebody's got to help me with these agendas. I'm kidding. All right. Emily was supposed to be here, so she'll probably walk in. Yeah. All right, in front of you, you have the agenda. I'll look to see if anybody wants to add anything to the agenda at this time. There's Dave. Let's say we had some parts on there for him. I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented. There's been a motion and there's support. You got them both, Meredith? Excellent. Any further discussion? You're in the penalty chair. All right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. The agenda is accepted. You also have the minutes from the October 13th meeting. I'm going to say that's right because that was my birthday, so that's the right meeting. I remember it. So there, Drake. Any additions, corrections, or deletions? If none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the October 13th meeting.
So moved.
There's been a motion. Is there support? All right, there's been a motion of support. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Excellent. All right, we're going to move right into promotion and we're going to talk with Michelle here and get a little update about First Fridays, maybe watch a little video about Halloween. And Michelle, you have the floor.
Thanks. The Halloween event went really well. I know I saw a couple of you down there. It was a huge event. We had a lot of kids. And we had a really good turnout of volunteers. I wanted to really thank Chuck Jacobson. He went out of his way to help with that, and his wife came down, and of course, Mayor Heath and her husband. Sorry, it sounded like an echo there for a minute. And Rudy Flores came down to DJ for us. T&L Rental gave us a really great rate on a bounce house. And of course, our city workers that came and helped out, handed out candy. We had a fire truck there, police car, DPW truck. So it was pretty cool. Chuck had the idea. He took a little bit of a short video while he was walking around passing out candy. And I took some photos and video. So I just put together a 2-minute short video for you guys. It's not Drake's quality at all. So it's just for your
Drake will
viewing.
critique it.
So I'll play that real quick for you.
While she's getting that ready too, I just want to say a lot of the community has reached out to me, like right after that event, and just so grateful and thankful, and said it was amazing to see so many children, and most of them were parents of children, but they just thought that was a great event, a very safe environment, and they were so happy that we did put this together.
Excellent. Wow. I love the dinosaurs.
I know, those costumes.
Those are the best. Awesome. Oh, that's fantastic.
So like I said, just to kind of show you an idea of the crowd, we tried to add more of activity, so it wasn't just kids walking around getting candy. So I think that went well. We had a movie in the chambers at 6:30, which we had a few people show up for. I'd say probably about 20 or so. Although by the time the movie's over, we flipped the lights on and everybody was gone. So I think as the kids got tired, they all kind of went out, but it was fun. It was a good night. So coming up next is First Friday, which of course is in conjunction with the Holiday Lights Parade and the Comstock Christmas Riverwalk tree lighting. So our parade this year is going to line up over by the old Cutler Dickerson. And then it's going to take a little bit of a different route, but it's going to still go down every downtown street, just like it has in the past. The parade will line up at 6:30, step off at 7, and then the tree lighting will be at 7:30. Then we're also going to have a holiday open house on Saturday, the 4th. So just a shopping open house. I'm hoping that I think the chamber bucks are going to be up and running by then. I know the chamber is getting ready to announce that soon. So hopefully that'll kind of be like a nice kickoff weekend for chamber bucks, bring more people down. And then we're also going to have Santa and Mrs. Claus at the gazebo at Comstock Park that day from, I believe, 4 to 6. So people can come down, get pictures with their kids. So that's what we have going on right now.
Awesome. That is fantastic. I know you'd mentioned that there you'd heard some feedback about not enough activities for our November 1st Friday. You want to mention that for a second?
Yeah, I did. So obviously, you know, during the colder months, we don't have car shows. We typically don't have a lot of outside activity other than December's event. But I did get some feedback from business owners that their customers were expressing that they wanted to know why the streets weren't closed, why we didn't have bands. So I think that's, you know, it's a good sign that we have a lot of new people that came down to First Fridays, and there's now this expectation of what that should be. So, you know, and I did talk about the fact that we don't really have a budget for First Fridays, and it's me kind of volunteering on the side. So, you know, hopefully as Main Street grows, we can start building up those colder months as well with more activity.
Very good. Any questions for Michelle on that?
A great job on the video, Michelle. There'll be a non-compete agreement in the mail soon.
All right. Hot drinks. So I'm gonna say, David.
Am I on?
Yep.
Okay. I've just been reached out by a couple of business owners about maybe doing thermal cups for hot drinks for the Dara district. I did send an email out to the restaurant owners and trying to see to get some feedback from them. I've only gotten feedback from 2 people at this time with interest of doing this, but I copied Dusty in the email. The cups are 45 cents a piece, so fairly expensive. It's an 8-ounce thermal cup with no lid, so the business owners would have to supply their own lid if they wanted to do hot drinks. So I'm just waiting on feedback from them to see if we're going to move forward. So at this time, I told them I needed to order a minimum of 10 cases. So I needed at least 10, you know, at least 50% of the business to participate. And right now, 10 cases is just a little over $2,500 without delivery. So I'm just waiting to hear feedback for more on that. And if they do want to move forward on this, I guess I probably need a vote now to move forward on this if I do get the participation from the downtown restaurants.
Can I ask a question about the cup process? I don't know if it's allowed, so I'm just inquiring. We put our sticker on that says the location where the cup was being filled.
Mhm.
Is it possible to put the Dara logo just on a sticker on a plain foam cup? And does that serve the purpose, or does it have to be a pre-printed?
I can definitely look into that because I do have some Dara stickers made as
Yeah.
well, if we can put it on there, but I don't know, it may have to be a specific cup. I'm not 100% sure, but that's something I can look into.
Okay, I mean, then it would just be on the business to make their own stickers.
The only thing is what I'm concerned about is uniformity in the cup. Because, somebody's gonna have a cup that looks, a white styrofoam cup. Another one's gonna have a different color styrofoam cup. They could have a cup like this. So there's a lot of difference, at least with the brand recognition with one Dara cup for the district. We still have specific cups because now I have an 8-ounce Dara cup coming for mixed drinks for you guys as well. And those should be here tomorrow. So I don't know if we can just throw a sticker on that. I don't know if,
There's got to be guidelines for this.
what's that?
There's got to be guidelines.
Yeah.
on What we can do. what we
Yeah.
can't.
And so I can research that and get back to you guys on that.
It just seems like it puts a lot on you to keep kind of developing and then doing the surveying. And I wonder if it's almost worth like, here are the 5 cups that we call Dara eligible and 8, whatever the number is, 2 cups.
Yeah.
And it's just on each business owner to keep their own supply of cups. And we know where to order them because these are the designated Adrian Dara cup. And then it kind of gets you out of the business of having to do all the research. I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for, but it seems.
It
like
doesn't
it
bother
might
me
be.
as long as we have the cups in supplies. I have a storage shed where I can manage this just fine.
Okay.
It's just making sure that the businesses get a hold of me in a proper amount of time to do so. I can't say, somebody contact me and say, I need Dara cups by 5 o'clock today or 5 o'clock
Right.
tomorrow. You got to give me at least 3 or 4 days leeway so I can get the cups delivered to you.
How much do we have in financial turnover, if you will? Like if we front you the 2,500, you recoup it from them. Are you keeping that kind of cash flow?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm keeping track of it. Brad made some invoices for me so we can bill everybody.
Okay.
I've received 2 checks from Club 109 and Erica, but we need to get, still some billing from some receivables from some of the other restaurants.
And you're asking today for another $2,500 presumption to do that if we get approval on that, or do you want to do the research and come back with 2 or 3
Well,
cups?
this is going to be a quick turnaround time because it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks to get these cups.
I gotcha.
So that is a situation. If I don't get a lot of feedback by the end of next week from these businesses, we're not doing it. I've only had 2 businesses approach me on it. If I get a smaller amount of quantity of cups, they get a lot more expensive.
Right.
And so
So
that's why I did the 10 cases. So if we get 5 or 6 businesses that participate, at least we can have the cups in inventory and they can have them for this season. And then we have another round to start next season. That's how I'm kind of looking at it.
So how much have you, and Brad, maybe you can help on this. So, I'm trying to think of it as a budget item that has a net 0 cash flow to it.
Right.
To the budget. And so we need to give you that latitude. Is it 2,500? Is it 5,000? Where have we been with you in the past on that? I'm trying to think.
Well, this last order I placed was just a touch under, right around $4,000 for this last purchase. And I haven't submitted the invoice and that was for 10 cases, I think 20 cases of cups, 10 12-ounces or 10 16-ounce cups and 10 cases of 8-ounce cups. So some of the, like Mammoth and Jerry and them can do their mixed drinks in a smaller glass. Same design. Michelle helped me with the design and getting that. And it actually has the Dara rules actually on the cup now too.
Michelle, you have a picture of that, don't you? There it is. That's on the cup. Awesome.
Thanks to Brad and his investigation in Kalamazoo.
Market research.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that control group. So is there a motion that needs to be made here, 2,500? To not for the hot cups, should they?
I'll make a
Participation.
motion
From
to,
Brad.
yeah, for $2,500 for purchase of cups to be reimbursed by businesses when they purchase them.
All right, there's been a motion by Brad. Is there support? Support by Meredith. Any further discussion?
I will also look into following up in regards to see if we can do some sort of sticker as well as you requested, Jerry. And I'll look into that and see if that's something that we can do. But like I said, if I don't get participation, we're not going to do it either.
Understood. I think what we want, I would like to see in the discussion here, though, is that we have a set of books that shows our receivables, who's paid, how much we've allotted in our budget, how much we recovered, so we can keep track of that, if that's all right. That's a lot of work for David.
I'm pretty sure the Croswell's out of compliance. We bought our own cups.
Did you really?
Yeah, you gave me the source and we bought our own.
Oh, when you did the party?
And after that, just to resupply our own straight up regular jar cups, we just matched the cup that,
And how much are you paying?
I don't know.
Because the thing is like when I did that first purchase order for the 25 cases, I got the cups for 16 cents a piece.
Yeah.
And now you could be paying, if you're only ordering 2 cases of cups, you could be paying 25, 30 cents a cup.
Yeah,
And so, I mean, that's the reason we do the bulk order, so we can get, so we can a lower cost, and we're just passing on expenses to you.
yeah,
And so,
yeah. I'm just thinking about our process.
yeah.
Whoop.
Greg, yes.
Hey, Mr. Chair, thank you. As to that process, what occurs to me is that normally, like if we were doing something like this, we bid the contract, for a supplier, and then you've got a set price, and that's the contract under which you're ordering, and you just go back to that same supplier for whatever period of time you've awarded the contract. That's typically the way we would do it. And I think, then you don't have to, you've already got a supply contract and it's profit and loss, right? In terms of what's coming in and going out, and you don't have to go back every time and ask for 2,500 or 2,000. It is what it is, because it's revenue neutral and in your budget, right? The revenues grow when the expenditures grow.
Right.
Just something to think
So
about.
maybe something to talk to that supplier about open-ended price with the expectation that you're going to be ordering so many thousand per year.
Mhm.
But yeah, the savings you're passing along to the business by bulk ordering.
Yeah, that's why, so if you want to follow up with what you paid for your cup,
Mhm.
but the more, obviously, the more cases you order, the bigger price break you get,
Right.
Any further discussion? Has the motion on the board's been supported? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. All right, David, continue to work on that. I'm sure you'll have more update as we go forward. Emily, just to update on where we're at with the engaging content and social media promotion engagement roadmap.
Okay. So I'll just take a second to, I sent over the social analytics for this month. Everything's in the positive, so that's good. We're trying to get up our following, and I included some information about engagement on Instagram. Instagram's kind of where it's at with the kids. So that's what we're trying to push right now. But we're trying to push a lot of events. Michelle added a lot of events on Facebook. So we're trying to make event information accessible on Facebook. That's kind of the target with the demographic on Facebook. And then pushing some of the quicker social interactions on Instagram to get out more information there. So you'll see that the information is targeted a little bit different on Facebook and Instagram. It's strategic in its purpose. because the demographics are a little bit different. So we target sharing information differently as well. But if you have questions about that, I'd be happy to answer those at any time. For the consumer behavior study, I included that as well. If you have questions, I'd love to follow up on those as well. This was just the first of 3 phases. This first phase was a gathering of information that happened at the Welcome Back Bash. It was mainly just a gathering of the demographic. So who is this? Where do they shop? And just very broad information. The second phase is happening currently. I have a skewed opinion about that because I've only been part of one of the focus groups. So my view of what's been happening is based on one of the focus groups and how they've responded and their answers. But there are other focus groups that have happened that I haven't been a part of. So I'm excited to see the results of those. There's been some really great answers, some really great information collected at the one that I was a part of. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot more great information back. They're doing a deeper dive. They're asking questions about parking. They're asking questions about specific businesses, about specifically where do you get your information? How do you get your information? When you're shopping online, what is attractive about online? What is attractive about local shopping for you? How often do you come downtown? When do you come downtown? What are the challenges for you coming downtown? If you'd like to know more about the specific questions asked and you have questions that you feel would be important to cover, we're welcome to give our input. So I can take that back to the group for you as well. But it's very comprehensive and they've done a really, really great job in my opinion. So just some of the key takeaways from this first one was that transportation wasn't an issue for this group of students coming downtown. It seems like they all had a decent time coming downtown. Like I said, this focus group, the second focus group goes into more detail about spending habits, and they've really targeted marketing messaging, retail recruitment, and the potential for events and how we can get more information out to them that way. This second focus group is also going to go more into detail on the best mediums and platforms to reach students about events and promotions. And this initial information is going to help write and frame questions and draft potential messaging for their feedback and inform the focus groups. And then the next phase, the third phase, is a bigger, larger survey that will be sent out to both of the campuses at large. That will be sent out mainly through campus email, but we have some other tools for direct targeting as well. So are there any questions about that consumer behavior study?
Emily, I'm always interested to learn about what our college students are doing, thinking. The spending habits was really surprising to me. About half said that they really didn't have any sort of spending capacity, but then some went up to as high as $1,500 a month. So I think there's a lot of potential there. And while I was surprised to see transportation wasn't as much of an issue because it was such a high percentage of those participants that had cars on campus, parking on campus is one of those issues that sometimes students don't want to move their car because they like the spot that they're in. It's a conundrum, right? But I would just think about things like our Welcome Back Bash, where we can intentionally bring students. But I'm loving it, and I can't wait to learn more from this phase 2 part.
Yeah,
Thank you.
There were some things that we hadn't considered, like there obviously is a pandemic still happening, but we hadn't considered how that would affect the results of the study, and the fact that we have now almost 3 classes of college students who haven't had a full year, a regular year on campus participating in the Comstock Christmas Tree Walk, and they've been encouraged to stay on campus and stay in their bubbles a little bit, which is great for their health, but it affects us downtown. So thank you.
And as far as social media, how active are we as an organization on the various platforms? Are we posting daily? Do we have any automated posting or anything that's happening?
We post once a week, like our hard posts on Instagram and Facebook, targeted posting, we post once a week. I share information as the pages that I follow, the business owners or whoever's running their pages, that I share almost daily. I try to keep up with it daily. Michelle has been posting events for us, which has been really helpful. And she's also been sharing, like if people message the Facebook group, it's really just been whoever's caught it first. If Michelle catches it, she answers questions on there and gathers information and can share out businesses there, or I'll share them, or we work together and share stuff from the city and Facebook pages there. So, but most of the students get their information from Instagram. And then Adrian has an app called the A Buzz app. So we're in conversation right now, Visit Lenawee, is about that resource and how we can get more involved with that resource. So once we have those conversations, I can also bring that information back as well, because that's how they're getting a lot of their information.
A Buzz app,
Yep.
that could go in different directions.
That was Adrian College Administration, but they also, Adrian has a communications department that does targeted communication back to their students. So we're working with their student communication, student-led communication, and their like administrative marketing to like meet in the middle.
Excellent.
I would also just say Shoe Engage is our
Yes.
Siena Heights Instagram that gets daily activity, and always good to share things through that channel. A lot of our students are following that.
Is that run through the hub?
Yes.
Okay, and
Yep.
that's Liz.
Liz Arts.
Okay,
Yep.
great. I'll be in contact then.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from Emily? Emily, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the Finance Committee, and Brad passed out everybody the
Yep,
financial-
balance sheets are distributed to everybody, so you can take a look at that one. November end, budget reports are also there as well. I think we pretty much paid most of our bills. We do need a sound doctor invoice still. Yeah, no problem. The city's bugging me on that one, but other than that, I think everything else is paid. So this budget report might look a little scary on the last page there, because you see like these red numbers, right? Well, those are really just our proposed budgets for the year and has nothing to do with what we've actually spent. The second column is the one that we're kind of looking at there, and you can see at the very bottom there, we see our revenues and expenditures, 139,000 revenues and $42,000 expenditures thus far. Of course, we have a whole year's worth of parking to pay in, so keep that in mind still. But as of right now, we don't really have any significant things to report. Everybody was made aware of the invoices that we paid in the last meeting, so I think those have been paid out, so.
We
That's
still
it
have
for now.
a significant cash balance, it looks like.
Yep. Yeah, we by the end of this this fiscal year, we should have more than $200,000 in the bank total between the two accounts, and we should still be net positive unless we make any significant project purchases between now and the end of the year.
We do 5,000 a month to the auto parking fund. Is that what it is? Or is it more net? No, more net.
No, that sounds right.
That's right.
5,000 a month.
60.
Yep, 60 total for the
Yeah.
year.
Any questions about the financial reports to Brown? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial reports as presented. There's been a motion by Margaret. Is there support? Support by Kevin. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. All right, I left on here the communication fundraising plan for broad-based community support. There were a number of pledges made during the process of the application process for MMS. I'm going to be doing some collections, I guess, is what we're going to be doing for all those that have made that commitment. For those of you that have friends and the like that we talked about maybe willing to do some donations, if you remember, we gathered a stack of people who checked off that they would be willing to make a monetary contribution. So I would like some help in tracking all this down and gathering back those donations. We need to get that into motion and making sure that we're padding this up in preparation for a director. If I could have any of you just touch base with me and see if we can get some of those collected. I maybe even just call a meeting of the fundraising committee and
Sure.
just get us back on focus. So I'll have Ashley circle back with all the fundraising committee and just make sure we're on top of all that, because we were running so fast. All right, any discussion on that? All right, let's move on to economic vitality. There was a meeting, I don't know which one's going to update us on this, but there was a meeting regarding the ideas for the Gene Christopher property. Brad, Dave, or Mark? Was there a meeting?
Yeah, we did have a meeting. We basically kind of talked over some, just some thoughts in terms of, what we're going to be doing to gather information regarding that. I know the things that I said I was going to do, I only looked into one of the three, so
Gotcha.
in the meantime, but we basically we just started a discussion where we're going to be going through some things and gathering some information about that. I don't think we're ready to present anything to the board as of yet, but just know that we are going to be working on that.
Just remember, everybody has ideas there. The idea that they're wanting to see at the land bank is whether we have a plan. And then the idea for us is whether we have a sustainable plan, one that pays for itself and provides a great place for the downtown, or at least we can afford to manage that piece of property. So I think Mark, Dave, and Mark Burry and Dave and Brad have been meeting and discussing what that vision looks like. So if you guys have any input, please email them, let them know what the ideas may be. Before we take on such a piece of property, we didn't know we can handle it. So I think that's great that you guys are meeting and talking about that. And then I left the volunteers on here. That'll be another step we're taking as we've gathered a lot of information, different people that said they would want to volunteer. So I'm guessing we're going to have to, we don't have a committee specific to that. But I think when we go through our fundraising meeting, we'll see who those people were, try to create a list of volunteers. Michelle sent me names of people that probably family members and different people that come down and volunteer. And if you guys think of people that are part of the volunteer base, just add those names, send them to me so we can start stockpiling a list of volunteers. I think it's about the engagement and the communication and everything. Because lots of times we get to those things, we're running so fast, and then we say, where are all the volunteers? And it's really because we didn't take the time to call, organize, and impact them and get them involved. So there's nothing specific there. On to Jerry. Decorations look pretty. New stuff coming. What's going on?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thanks to the people who helped with the fall decorating. I wasn't able to be there, and they came together and did a great job. So big cheers to that group of people, of all volunteers, in fact. And then also thank you to Greg and to Matt from the city. So for the holiday decorating, one of the things that's happened with this Adrian for the Seasons, there was a big fundraising push a couple of years ago. And over time, we've made some investment in some really good quality decorations for downtown, but a great deal of that money was spent on the contractor who put up and took down those decorations. And this year we're doing less because of the change in light poles. So we won't see the garland and things around the light poles downtown this year. But what is going up in terms of lighting, the four corner light situation, the city of Adrian is really helping us by paying for all of that at this point. There may be some exchange of funding that's needed once they really have a clearer idea of how much time it's taking, but their support, I mean, it was a shocking amount of money last year that we paid to get the decorations put up and taken down. And essentially after fall, our budget is zero. We have zero left in that fund, which is kind of sad because a lot of people gave a lot of money. Now there's lots of good things. Of course, the investment in those long-term pieces is important and I think will help us for a long time. So what I'd like to do in terms of the fall, there's a little bit of reimbursement to me for the fall, and Carpenter Farms and Barrett's billed the city directly for some of what they provided that came out of the seasonal budget. And I think that's where we get to basically zero. So for the holiday, I'm asking for 7,500, which is going to be probably more than we need, but we need new birch poles, the greenery, and then we're putting the Christmas ornaments and some sparkly things in about 45 pots. So Some of those things like the birch, just over the last several years, we just need to replace that. And as it turns out, that's the largest expense that we have for this. It's really pricey to get those. So the pots are now behind City Hall and they're just waiting. The goal is to have them filled over the next 2 weekends so that then they can be put in place just like right around Thanksgiving. So if you are interested in helping, there is a Facebook group for that. I'll be putting an email out with specific hours to come, and we just put all the stuff out and you just kind of fill a pot matched to the one that's kind of the model, I guess, and you can give a little bit of time or a lot of time whenever you have it. Wear gloves because you get sticky from all that pine sap on the greenery, but it doesn't take really anyone with very much skill to do it, and it's kind of fun. So that's the budget needed for any of the last remaining fall that wasn't covered, and then to get us through holiday and looking towards spring.
So 7,500. And the way I look at this is that when we're out raising funds for Main Street, we talk about fitting that into our budget, but this was a critical component of our budget too. It is a real part of it. So maybe we're not asking directly for direct decorations anymore from our donors, but this is part of the package we offer as a Main Street organization. So the 7,500, when we look forward a full year, what is that budgetary number you think is the most comfortable? And
right.
what can we fit into the budget? Because it's prioritized. I would agree. Would we all agree? It's a high priority.
Yeah. I think in terms of like an annual look or even a 3-year plan, the desire to replicate the lights that are high up at the four corners and go down a street or 2 or 3 or 4, I think is highly desired. And all of the parts and pieces to make that work are pretty complicated.
Right.
So totally in favor of that, but looking at what that's going to be a pretty significant expense, but high impact.
Yeah,
You
I would treat that as a project in itself. If we're going to canopy the buildings and try to create that atmosphere. As far as creating the pots, the color and everything that we put down here. And I know that we have those longer term investments in the garland and some lights, but lights are always got to be replaced.
Oh, yeah,
every
that's
year.
just an ongoing.
just
Yeah, so
constant.
lights are included in some of what we're doing this year, just in case Jason and the team need more.
So,
lights for-
yeah, I guess what I'm trying to do is project out a year is 10,000 a year, a number that gets us where we cover that.
The summertime pots cost basically $100 each. So we put out, I think, about 60 in the summer. We put a few less in the winter. If we just kind of repeat what we've been doing, it's probably about $12,000 a year, is just kind of off the tip of my head. But again, that's not getting us any like replacing anything that goes bad. We shouldn't have to do that, anything major right now, but if we, first it was the light at the four corners, then the snowflake was added. Because I'm excited to see what the poles are. I would love to perhaps have seasonal flags that fit on the poles, but I'm not totally sure I don't know what the poles look like. So I think what I would do for this year is ask for this amount for fall as a no greater than 7,500, and maybe work with Matt and think about what an annualized budget would be. And I could bring that to the December meeting as part of perhaps the annual budget for 2022.
When do we adopt our budget?
I think it's in like February. Yeah.
February.
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So believe me, our budget is going to be way more complex next year. We need to itemize dozens of things. And so that should be a permanent
Yep.
line item
Yeah.
Right.
and should be funded underneath all of these Main Street collections that we're going to be doing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I mean, it's like you said, it's high impact. Everybody sees it, and that's important right now.
And I don't fully understand the relationship between the DDA and the city. As I understand it, and I want to speak, I don't want to put words in Matt's mouth, but it sounds like DPW is going to be able to just cover the expenses this year because we're not doing that much. But would it be that if we wanted the city to take care of the pole wrapping in the future, we would like do that exchange monetarily, take funds out of the DDA and put that into the city coffers?
Yeah, that would be the right way to do it,
Yeah.
like we do with other authorities. If we do a project for them that involves labor and or materials, and we just build the authority for those for that labor and materials, and that would be the right way to do it. I mean, this year it's we're just getting it done.
Thank you.
But as Brad points out, in future years, that ought to be budgeted for.
Yeah, so I could work with Matt on what that, I mean, I don't have really any idea. I think it's probably significantly less than what we were charged previously, but we can figure that out.
So, yeah, I just want to reiterate the great relationship we do have with the city when it comes to this type of thing. There's so many soft costs or things we don't see that they do, and they step up, and the commission has prioritized us quite well. And so we do appreciate it. When I came out and see us putting the tree up down there with the fire truck and stuff, I knew what that was all about. So it's a great thank you to the city and to the commissioners and to
If
the mayor.
only that were the only tree.
That's what I hear.
It's 400 trees.
Sorry, I also wanted to just thank Michelle for communicating. She does a great job with the entire downtown. Because we're not doing the polls this year, we really are trying to get downtown businesses to support the idea of a blue Christmas and using blue as kind of the primary theme of whatever they do in their window or in their store. And hopefully we can continue that kind of thing where we have a theme for maybe all 4 seasons that get the businesses and the residents involved in what the downtown looks like.
Excellent.
And those blue lights on the trees down there look really good. They're lit they were lit this morning, so I saw them. They look great.
Good.
Margaret.
It seems that every year we have the same discussion and it goes on and on. And perpetually, we spend a great deal of time. And the time was when that relationship wasn't so great. And those that can recall that, it was so sad and it was such a hardship. And it was always like, and it is so nice now that that is not the case and that people like Michelle facilitate that and Greg, and it is a great working relationship. But it would be really nice if it were in autopilot. You wouldn't have to have these discussions. You would have a budget and a committee and a storage place where you knew what you had and what you would have to replace. And building a budget and actually having a committee that puts it together and you know what you have and what you're going to replace every year would be a wonderful place. And it's part of the beautification. It's part of what people look for and attract when they come in. We talk about great things in the county and the city. I think that is just an absolutely wonderful opportunity. And it's just another piece of the puzzle that Main Street is going to bring. And that's just a part of it, but it's a big piece of that puzzle, Jerry.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time and energy on that. And I'm glad you're looking, and I don't know if the number is 12 or whatever it is, but I say shoot big, big,
Right.
and then,
Just a not spend-
make them force you to whittle it down.
That's a huge selling point for us. when
Because
we're
it's
out there
beautiful.
spending
Yeah.
funds.
What was done for this fall is just beautiful. And we're all excited to see you match what was last Christmas. So anyhow, that would be my comment on it.
Thank you.
And yeah.
And I want to show my leadership. The color of my building is blue, so.
Well done,
So
well
you see
done.
that, I'm already.
I would
committed.
say
You guys
green
wanna
and
go
white
half
would
our
be
age.
beautiful too.
Be all
I'm
blue.
just gonna mention
next
green and white is gorgeous as well. And those of us that tolerate through the blue will look forward to next year, but
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
Purdue.
Might look
Anyway.
good, Mark, to paint the armory blue to match
Yeah.
Dusty's building.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm gonna entertain a motion for 7,500 as a gap budget until we get to full budgetary time where we can be more detailed with Jerry's budget on that committee.
I'll support.
There's motion, support, I can be the motion, yeah. So there's motion and support. Is there further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
I,
All those opposed, the same. Well, that sounds perfect.
I know.
Wow. The next item, we'll just sort of skip over. Just remember, we need some construction work. I don't know if Drake, you took your drills down there or not or anything, but
So
I'm asking around. Did anybody run across one? Yes.
I was contacted by Brett Cotton, me and Brett and Drake. He doesn't know yet, but yeah, Drake, me and Brett and Drake are gonna knock it out in January.
There we go.
Awesome.
So
Great news.
we're just gonna wait, talk to your director. Apparently he's out right now, and then,
Yes.
we'll get some time set up. And
January.
I know for Brett, December's bad for me, but we'll get it knocked out in January.
Great.
Yeah, we could start meeting. Well, okay, great. I'll chat with you.
Awesome. That's awesome. Good news. Speaking of street lamps, any action there, Greg? And we can make this part, I don't have the city part, so if you have any other updates, we can do it right here.
Sadly, I do not. Our last progress meeting with Johnson Controls, they did not have a intended delivery date for the materials yet. And so we're just waiting on them to come up with that.
All right. Trees, I see they put one up in front of my office yesterday or day before.
Yeah, we got about a dozen going in this fall, and then there'll
Okay.
be more in the spring, but we were able to secure about a dozen of the maple varieties that we'd agreed upon, the lower growing ones that will keep their size over time.
Excellent. And then the demonstration project, any movement there?
Met with Jason Preston yesterday. We've got a little gunk to clean off the windows, which I believe DPW did yesterday, and he may proceed as early as today. I think he's gonna get it done this week.
Very nice.
Can you just explain that a little bit?
We're just putting a faux window treatment on the two buildings that we own downtown as sort of a demonstration of what could be done with vacant buildings and what we might indeed require downtown business, vacant downtown property owners to do with downtown buildings of the future, so that you maintain that streetscape and you're not looking in at a crappy, dilapidated interior
Mhm.
instead.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Yep.
And we keep that power washing and sim on the board. We haven't made action on that. Just want to keep everything. We're keeping them on the agenda. Each of you should have received a sign application. I did get a little chuckle that it's the men's room, but if you guys haven't met Mike Lear, who's next to me now, what a great person, what a gemstone to add to our community. He's got a lot of vision and idea for his place, but in the meantime, he's going to have Diane set up a men's gift specialty type shop, pop-up shop in his place. So this is a temporary sign permit, right? Temporary. And it gives you the details, and you can see on the back what that looks like. So pop-up shops, you heard that in Main Street, haven't you? Pop-up retail. So we're going to give it a try. And I'm gracious to Mike of partnering with Diane and seeing if we can make something happen there, show some more activity. So any questions on that? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve this sign application.
So moved, Lally.
By Drake. Support. Or by Kevin. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. On to Main Street Select Level. We have, as you know, they actually contacted me a month ago, or more than a month ago, so I had to walk through this meeting knowing it, and I had to walk through that 30 days. They swore me to secrecy, and that was a very hard, difficult thing to do, to not get excited and tell everybody. So they're waiting for the press release. They're waiting to coordinate with the other communities that had done that. They wanted work, and they wanted statements from each of us, and I sat here just, shaking half the time like I wanted to tell someone, but we finally saw it hit the press, and we were able to talk about it freely. Laura and Lee have been fantastic. We met two new people. There's one from Main Street of America that's on our focus team, if you will. And there's another gentleman, I don't have their names in front of me, but we met to talk about a baseline, where we're at, and you'll have a document with you. It's called Main Street Baseline Assessment Transformation Strategy. So this is that point everyone where we have to really realize that the amount of work that we're going to be doing is going to be extensive. And this is where we start. This is where it all begins. If you've read their objectives and what the overall process includes, oh, there's the 4 names. There's Norma Mice, Laura Lee, and this Tony Garcia. And it gives what their positions are. On Tuesday, November 30th, it's an all-day sort of an event for them to be here. And you can see at 8 a.m., it's us, the Main Street Board Directors are going to be the first, and the Board of Directors share highlights of their efforts and a number of things you can read. I won't read it to you. Then at 9:45, city staff will be organized and set up with the team. And then at 2 o'clock, we need to encourage all of our building owners to come to a meeting. And then the 3 o'clock downtown business owners, and sometimes that's the same person, lots of times. And then they need to meet with all the city officials at 4. So that's a big day, November 30, what did I say? November 30th, Tuesday. So mark your calendars. We're going to be running at that point in time. That's really a big time. And I'll share anything that they want us to think about or do before that time by email and the like. But this is their first big setup where we set the baseline. The following day, Wednesday, December 1st, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., you can see there's an itinerary there where they meet with local leaders involved in design. So we bring the historical society to that, preservation, anything that we have that people that are committed to that. Then there's meet with the Chamber of Commerce, and then there's meet with local leaders again in economic development. So we'll have to get Jim to come to that meeting and the LDFA members and a few others. And then we'll meet with local leaders in promotion and marketing, and then others. So we need to picture those people and visualize who they are in these various categories, and we need to recruit them to be at these. One of the things that happens so often is we organize these events and then 7 people show up. And so we need a lot more people at these. This is where we do a real outreach. It's almost training, if you will, because they're going to educate us quite a bit on those 2 days. And then we're back at the Board of Directors that following day, 12:15 to 1:15.
Hey,
As we
Doug,
move- Yes.
Jim, did you send that out to us?
I did not yet. It'll come this morning. I'll get it done right after this meeting.
Okay, we'll be there.
Yeah, we're just getting this.
Dusty, is your expectation that this board would participate in 2 full days, or that we would just be here for those segments?
Those segments. Now, like I might want to show up to the building owner, business owner one because, just an example, or Brad might, but no, you're not obligated before, except for just where the Board of Directors are.
Dusty, I see the first session, 8 to 9:30, talks about a PowerPoint presentation. Are we going to have one PowerPoint presentation or individual board members putting their own presentation together?
Oh, wow. I guess I didn't read it in that much detail. That's us to create the PowerPoint presentation, huh?
Correct.
Got any skills in PowerPoint, Drake? Just kidding.
I'd be happy to help with that.
Sure, we can figure it out.
We could-
Excellent.
Yeah.
So let's get that going. I'm glad you punched it. I do. Yes. That is definitely an action item.
I'm sorry, was that, so Meredith is leading on that? I didn't hear I didn't see, I had my
Blind
glasses
about
on,
this,
so I
huh?
couldn't see
Yeah,
that far away.
I'm a pretty advanced level PowerPoint user, so I'm happy to help or do it or whatever the group needs.
I'm still trying to figure out all this computer stuff anyway.
Yeah, right. I don't think we have to do it. We've got a lot of this work done. We just need to prep it and get it organized because we did a lot of this getting ready for application. So I'm sure there's a lot of things we can add from that. And Drake has thousands of photos and film, thousands. It's huge.
Let me know how I can help.
Yep. Oh, we will. Ashley, if we just make a note that we organize that with Meredith and Jerry and whoever else would like to be a part of that.
I'm happy to help with that too. Looking at the paragraph here, I don't know if there's additional guidance in the rest of this document or not, but looks like we could repurpose a lot of the video interviews that we did to get the points for this PowerPoint too. So we're not having to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think so.
All right, we'll call for a quick organized meeting for that PowerPoint presentation for Main Street Board of Directors. Anything else anybody can see that's an active item? Thanks for pointing that out. No, it doesn't. I don't believe so. Then we move to the transformation strategy identification tentative schedule, I talked about when we finally get to be Main Street, that we'll walk through strategic planning. Is probably not the word is what they're looking at. They're looking at is transformational strategies. And they use their skills and everything they learned from other cities and the like to share some of these best practices and the like. So they're going to be doing a community survey. They're going to do a leaders survey. They have windows, as you can see in here, from January through February. And then the next time we'll have major visits will be on February 22nd, community public meeting with Main Street Board present. And, they'll be sharing those findings, discussing the relationship, I guess, with the Main Street Board and local leaders. And we try to get the full Main Street Board at this one and invite attendees, and you can see all the invites. So my assistant Ashley's been working hard at the details on this and getting ready to send out emails and invitations and the like. So I just wanted to introduce this today, but we're going to have to be moving pretty quickly for the November, the November meetings, right? The end of November meetings. We won't meet before they're, as a board, before those, but we will have that PowerPoint meeting before that, and then we'll be prepped for that day. So it is outreach at this point to get people to come to these meetings. So I'll talk to city staff as well about them, talk to the leadership, and we'll get this
I'll
out
talk to
today.
I'll talk to city commission.
All right,
Yep.
excellent. We'll get this out. Yes, Michael.
I just wanted to confirm the schedule will be virtual, or will we be in person at all for any of this?
I think a lot of this is in person. They're coming to town for the November.
Okay,
So I'm sure there could be a component like here where we could have participation on Zoom and hybrid.
I just see,
Oh. It does give them as a thing. But they were
That's
coming
interesting.
down here. All right, let me verify that. I'll get the
It
communication
says
out
on there, all meetings will be on site in the community.
on site.
So
That's the way I understood it when they talked to me at our meeting, that they were on site.
Their
Although document this
is
one means
contradicting
all
itself,
meetings will
but-
take virtually.
it says.
Yeah, I'll clarify and get that out to you.
it
We'll
it
get
could, it could be transformation strategy is going to be on site, and November is going to be, November 30th and December 1st will be virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I see that. All right, I'll verify and send that to each of you. And there's one more date I want to mention besides these, so that's that schedule. There is a January 18th meeting from 5:30 to 7:30. I'd like to see everybody at. This will be the boards of all the other communities that were given the select level. I think there's 2 or 3 more, and we'll be virtual at that one. But that is just for us to get training together as a group and share our ideas together. And so it's part of that first step in networking between the other communities that we're going to want to consistently do and share ideas.
Are we gonna meet here and attend that as a group, or?
What's everybody's pleasure? That might be best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be best. So let's meet here as a group, if that doesn't bother anyone, on January 18th, and we'll have this set up, if that's okay, Michelle and Mike. Does that run into any of our other meetings, commission meetings, anything? Okay, okay.
The Croswell Studio could be an option if it's.
I just looked at it. It should run, but-
Okay.
Because it's a Tuesday, and it's not the first Tuesday, which is planning commission.
Gotcha. All right, again, you'll hear from us often on this for the next week or two as we're pounding away, and we'll call a meeting for that PowerPoint. If you see any other details that I'm missing, because we're just getting the stuff, just getting it to you, just point it out. I'm glad for the help. I don't want to miss anything. Any other discussion on that? Jerry, Mark, Emily, you guys had a survey, taken it. Some others have probably taken it. How are we doing on the survey?
Yeah, good. Emily's gonna give. the
Okay,
report.
Yeah, so we got the survey results back. And if you haven't sent your survey results back, I believe you can still do so. We'd still value all of your input. So we would like that, please. Some of the top priorities, we sent out like some action item priorities for you to prioritize. And then we also sent out some areas that you might be willing to participate in and volunteer in. So we just wanted to get a general feedback on that. Some of the top priorities that we received back were hiring a Main Street director, building a strategic plan, and addressing the vacant building maintenance ordinance. There were several time commitments of volunteerism in participating in events and donating, along with other ways to support the induction of the Main Street program with that broad-based community support. So that was great to see. We'd like to potentially use this survey to help build a strategic plan in the future. We know that Main Street is going to help us do that. So we are not trying to double our resources on that. This was just kind of an initial, where are we at? Let's test the waters and see where the board is at now, so that when we go into that process with Main Street, we have that capability. There's lots of areas of leadership for committee leaders or project leaders or smaller subcommittee groups. So we just wanted to get the board thinking about, now that we are Main Street, how can we be volunteering ourselves for projects, for events, for subcommittees? We want to make sure that in that strategic plan, we have an action plan that's prioritized by not only the time commitment, but the significance to the board as a whole and the available resources. We talked about prioritizing the budget so that it reflects that way as well. So just thinking about all these priorities and things that we really want to do that are important to all of us, but we also have to have the time and the resources to do so. So organizing those thoughts a little bit better with the strategic plan will help, and Main Street will help us do that. But those were just some of our initial thoughts. Does anybody else have any feedback?
Thank you all for participating. Pretty much everybody did, except for the people I forgot to send it to, and they have subsequently agreed to do it. So thank you for that. And it was interesting how the three topics really rose to the top very clearly. There was sporadic support for other things, but those things really were the highest priority for pretty much everybody across the board.
And I skipped that. Oops, go ahead, Mark.
Just wanted to also support and thank Emily and Jerry for a wonderful job. They put a lot of effort into that. It comes to mind that as we look ahead, we need to consider the next set of board members. And I just like to put that on the table, that we should be looking ahead to find other leaders in the community who are willing to join us for the Main Street transition. Thank you.
Yeah, that's an important point. You know, the DDA is DDA through appointment from the city commission. The Main Street is a wider swath of people, is the way they visualize it. So while yes, this board has the TIF and the mills and the budget, we still want to expand it. And I don't know if necessarily we have to have it by appointment, but more of, you are part of our Main Street group. But I think there's still some bylaws and everything that govern this body. So we'll probably stay at the same numbers instead of change bylaws, but we'll get guidance from Main Street on that, because we're not the first DDA to convert. Did you have something?
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also appreciate that Mark shared it with our Town and Gown group, this survey. And as we think about the connection between Town and Gown with the Main Street, I almost said DDA.
Yeah.
But I think that's an important part. And there's some members that sit on both of those groups. So.
Excellent. So I've skipped my first item on that on purpose, and it segues pretty beautifully. We have about 2 more interviews to do. The listing for the position expired on 2 sites, MML and the city's website at this time. I wanted to bring that up, in that as we keep going, if we keep relisting it, it loses some of its merit, if you will, I think sometimes, because they're like, they haven't been able to fill that position, that kind of thing. We raised the price, if you remember, and the like, and we got a lot of activity. Thank you to all the interview committee members who've taken time to sit down and talk to all these individuals that have interviewed for the position. I expect to have the final interviews for us, and you guys have been seeing that by this week, maybe middle next week. And then I think we all got to get together and talk about a serious decision as to who we want to put in that position.
What's the protocol if we don't feel we have the right person?
I think that's the question we have to ask ourselves today, if after that happens, because I'd like to get this person in play, because these meetings that are coming up in Main Street and getting them trained in the same fashion, same speed we are. But I may not be able to do that. I don't know. Again, we always have I'm not saying it's an end all to repost. It's just something that we want to be careful with, and not be so, so maybe we just let me finish these interviews, and if we get back to next meeting and we don't make a decision as a committee, we may have to decide to repost at that time.
Right. Just, I ask because there were, of those, I think that interviews are being set up for, there were some, I think, pretty important concerns raised by people who reviewed the resumes that, doesn't mean that they won't be overcome, but.
Right. Right. It's it's a different labor market at the moment, and it's just different. But I think as we sit down, talk as a committee and then as a board, we just have to decide if the people that we've interviewed so far, can somebody make the cut to get us rolling? We don't know. We've talked about it in different fashions. There's people that have been involved, and there's people that we're going to be meeting here soon that have been involved. So we'll see how those play out. I don't want to make any pre-statements yet. We don't want to make any statements.
Yeah, right.
So let us run with that as fast as we can. I'll be getting back to the interview committee. Actually, it's probably been hitting you guys with emails trying to get it all lined up. So we'll get those last few interviews out and see what happens. All right. So I don't know if I have, let's see, what else? There was something else I was thinking I needed to cover. Can't think of it at this time. If I think of it, I'll circle back. Let's open to public comment. Anybody anybody like to speak public comment?
I do, Dusty, just briefly, if I may.
Yes.
Okay, Jim Van Dorn. Just a reminder of the EDA grant that we have for the next 2 years. We have heard from some people in downtown, but you are all representatives to your businesses down there. So make sure they understand that we have that funding to help them with consultants if they've had problems since the COVID situation. And we will be having, and some of you may want to attend just so you understand the process a little better. Randy will be having a Zoom meeting that explains the parameters, because we do want the community support. If people come to us from downtown Adrian and want to apply for a grant, we want it to be screened through you down there and in the city to make sure that it qualifies for the grant, so that we have participation from all the local communities too. So if you would like to attend that Zoom meeting, it shouldn't be longer than 59 minutes. He'll just lay out the parameters that you can apply for the grant under, and call Dottie out here and we'll put you on the meeting, sign you up.
Excellent. Thank you, Jim. I mean to keep you on the agenda there, so I need to put that.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. If I have anything, I'll let you know.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Don Taylor, 475 Meadowbrook Drive. Again, congratulations on Main Street. It's wonderful news. I look forward to the meetings on November 30th with building owners, and then on December 1st for the promotion and marketing. I'll be there, and hopefully with some other people representing our delicious. So kudos to all of you. Great work. Look forward to the future.
Thank you, Don. And you come out of quarantine as of tomorrow, right?
I do. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
You were teasing yesterday, so I had to tease you back.
Yeah, well, had a slight issue with that COVID, but we beat it back just fine. Thanks for
very nice. I'm glad to hear that.
We all wish you well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Doing great.
Awesome. Any other public comments?
Happy birthday to Drake Lally. So.
Oh, what?
Oh, happy birthday.
You were hiding.
Yeah. 25, 26.
26.
Oh, wow.
I'm done for a few years now. They're going by too quickly.
Oh, please.
Awesome.
It's not going to work.
Sorry, Drake. I knew you thought you were going to get away with nobody knowing.
Thank you, Jim.
Any other public comments? Any other DDA business matters we can bring up this time? I know I'm forgetting something. I can't remember what it is.
Just a couple of things. Obviously, the last meeting, we talked about the Dara District getting the letter to legislation. I haven't had time to meet with Mary Margaret yet to try to draft a letter, but I'd like to get that at least as an action item.
I have a letter ready.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
I should have brought it, but it's ready, and I've
Oh.
had communication with our representative as well, a couple of them regarding this issue, and it is in process.
Awesome.
Well, I'll get you an update of where they're at with the bill, but they're after it.
Awesome.
They didn't just hear from our community.
Awesome. Okay.
You know, they've heard from all over the state, because it does cause an issue with our nonprofits in a major
Okay.
way. So,
Cool. Another thing too is I know a couple meetings ago, we talked about trash cans. And I know I just haven't been able to connect with you. Whenever you have a meeting for your next committee meeting, just tag me on that and I can try to get over there and
Okay.
see what we can do. I know we talked about as we moved into the Main Street program, maybe there'd be additional funding for recycling and things of that nature. And those are things we were looking at, but just to try to get that back on the agenda. So we're all thinking about it as well.
it's a great point. It's something I needed to bring up and should have had on the agenda, and it's something that's coming to the city's attention as well as the DDA's, and it's going to be a hot issue as we move forward. And so I want you all to start thinking about this. So in the past, there was an allocation of assessed to each of our business owners for refuse and the like, and we have part of our budget that goes in and out on refuse as well. And a couple of things that became aware is that some people are being assessed and some aren't. So there is going to be a reevaluation of the whole thing and to take a look at that, but it will create heartburn. I just want to warn everyone as we move into that thought process and we start being fair and equitable. There's going to be people that felt like zero was fair and equitable for them. And that's going to create, and we're going to have to be ready and be a partner with the city on this. I really think it's where we can show some leadership and help with our downtown business owners. So that's going to be something that's being evaluated right at this time. There's also been a lot of abuse of putting actual trash in our recycling bins at this point in time. It's giving us a higher cost. We're getting assessed more from our providers, and they've tried to ask us to make awareness of this. And this goes back to the discussion of enforcement and how do you even do it? How do you keep people from coming from outside the city and bringing their stuff and throwing it in there? We don't know who it is. We couldn't really put our finger on it, but there's abuse going on as we speak. So I think that has to be tackled at a bigger or a different meeting and a bigger topic, because when I was on commission, we changed providers and that was hostile. And so just talking about trash can get people emotional. But I do want us to show leadership here. I think we really need to. And so I've reached out to you, Greg. You've sent me information on this. I think we want to meet with city leaders and talk about how we do this and communicate it effectively and make sure we don't get big kickback. At that time, I think we should start committing to the overall vision of recycling and how we do it. I've got a picture from Traverse City. We were up there and they have the trash can and then the recycling one right next to it. And that's all over the city. And I keep seeing that replication everywhere. And we don't have that right now. So I'd like to see that.
Yep.
All right, just giving you a tee up on that one.
Okay, and then I got one last thing.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Obviously, First Fridays with the Christmas tree lighting ceremony a couple years ago, me and Brett donated hot apple cider and hot chocolate and stuff like that. I don't know if that's something that we want to do as a DDA board, or is it something that we want to do as a small fundraiser at the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Just wanted to kind of throw that bomb out there to see what we wanted to do. When we did it 2 years ago, it was me and one of my team members, and we donated it for free, but it was extremely, extremely well received.
How much did it cost you to do that?
A few $100.
Oh, geez.
I mean, it was just time. And that's the thing. Fridays are pretty tough for me, obviously from a staffing standpoint right now, but I mean, I'd be more than happy to bring my trailer down here Friday afternoon, get it set up and ready. I don't know if we as board members want to do something to donate to the community or do it as a small fundraiser for us. So we have some money in, money out. It wouldn't be huge, but we went through a lot of hot chocolate and a lot of hot cider that day.
But still, a few $100 is all right.
Yeah, it was
After all
minimal.
was said and done.
I mean, if we want to do it just as us as a DDA.
Yeah, I just don't see any activity that's not gonna realize 5,000 or 6,000 or 10,000.
No, it's not gonna be
You know,
big.
So to me, it's more of a give it as a gift and give it away as.
Yeah, I
opposed
think
to
that,
goodwill.
yeah.
Right.
Staffing is going to be the critical piece. Staffing will be the critical piece. I mean, I can set the trailer up that afternoon and
Where was it set up?
what's that road right there?
College.
College that runs right down there. Yeah, we set up right on College, right in front of, I think, Hayden Tire. Right there. I mean, we were getting crushed. It was me and like I said, one of my team members, and we just got annihilated. But people were very appreciative. I mean, she probably made $100 in tips that day. I mean, because I gave her all the money, obviously.
How long did you do it?
I think we set up at 4 and I think we ran out like at 8. And so Brett boiled the cider for me and we made hot chocolate at my restaurant. And so, I mean, it's
popular, huge.
I think it'd be good. Obviously, I mean, it's the Culver's trailer, but we can figure out a way to say DDA, that kind of thing.
That's something we could use for college students. College students have stuff on a Friday night. Maybe.
Before they Jody was for 2 hours.
Maybe 5 to 8.
Yeah.
This is for the December 1st.
December 3rd. Yeah.
December 3rd, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And just to that point, I just had been talking to Jim Berryman. First of all, we sold out all the trees like last week. So we've had great participation. But Jim and I are expecting enormous crowds this year, especially for the lighting, because we didn't have it last year. We just lit the trees because of COVID, because we didn't want to have a gathering. So we're expecting it to be bigger than ever. So when speaking of needing more volunteers, for sure, because I think you're going to be even extra slammed this year.
Okay. So from a different perspective as well, I mean, do we spend a little bit more money and do it a little better? Because we were very cramped in that trailer, trying to serve so many people. I mean, do we set up a 10 by 20 tent on College, a couple 8-foot tables so we have some space to move? And then,
What about the gazebo? Is that where you were at?
no, I think that gazebo is too cramped.
That's small.
Oh, Santa.
Pardon me?
Santa's gonna be in the gazebo.
Can't kick Santa out. Yeah, nobody
Put
but Santa in the
out.
corner.
No, don't be doing that.
So,
Whoa.
I think it's just a really great idea. I think it's nice for the DDA to be out there. I have to say, the Croswell has a production that night, so we're fighting our own crowd issues. So like, I can't even like volunteer space or anything to support, but if so finding the person to coordinate, I guess. and
I mean,
not
I'll try,
putting it on your feet.
I'll do my best to coordinate. I know I probably won't be able to be down there,
Yeah.
so just because of the restaurant.
And
the armory?
Armory might work.
I think the biggest thing is, do we have the people to work it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great idea, but if we don't have people to actually be
Can
in
you help give me
there.
some volunteers?
I can help coordinate students, and if we want to give them the PBA volunteer shirts, I can also.
Okay.
coordinate shots and I can help coordinate students.
I'll help you, Emily, and personally commit to helping.
We need maybe 4 people.
Rose Gas station, is that like off?
Too
Our
far.
rapport with them is not.
What about that park?
I think if we set up right on College again, I think that's great because you have the visual looking down over the park to see all the lights. And because I imagine Jim will be doing the presentation from
Right.
the
And
stage down
I was
there.
gonna say either there or if the armory, but what I saw, at least, I mean, I was in the parade, but what I saw is everybody leaving from the parade and coming, filtering down for that tree lighting. And so they're gonna walk either, college or by the armory, like that, those spots are almost like either one or just the best for where they're filtering down from.
Did you guys close college 2 years ago when we set that up?
Well, that's what I have a couple questions about this. We just redid our parade route and I can't remember in my head. I'm gonna go back and look at my map when I get done.
Okay.
But we'll have to make sure that we're not bringing the parade through that spot. It will be closed for sure.
Okay.
But I just want to make sure that that's not going to affect anything. And then my second question would be, is that considered mobile food vending? And I'm going to get lots of questions about why are they allowed to be there and no one else is?
If we're giving away for free.
But if it's free, isn't that isn't that the little way to get
Well,
around?
part
it?
of the-
I'm just letting you know, it's
Yeah.
going to be an issue.
The city's ordinances don't apply to the city.
And I can refer those
Well,
questions
but
back
the
to
thing is-
DDA, but I'm letting you know, I've already, one of the reasons we started the conversation about the food truck ordinance was because I had several businesses that wanted to come down for the big Guinness World Record tree lighting
Yeah.
and set up food trucks.
Mhm.
And they pointed out that I think it was the Culver's trailer that was there. So I'm just letting you know it will be a section.
Yeah. But I think part of that ordinance, I think how we were in the Boys and Girls Club, are allowed to do their fundraisers, they prepare it offsite and serve here. They're not doing this prepared here, so they didn't have the license. Our stuff will be prepared offsite and served here as well.
In that case, it was reviewed as catering.
Yes.
They weren't serving.
There it is.
That was the key distinction.
And if it's in a tent, I think, and it's catering because you're giving it, that's gonna kind of help all of those situations.
Michelle will have to screen a lot of this, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is true. We do, as the city, we don't have a full permit. for our own activities.
I know, it was just a great way you said it though.
On an answer to.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna have food trucks asking probably ahead of this event anyway.
Yeah.
And, if we say no and then people show up and so I just want to be clear on the narrative for
Mhm.
that.
Perhaps the answer is to use the front lawn of the armory.
With the
Mhm.
tent.
And then it's
then
not,
over.
I mean, it's totally circumventing. There's no perception of a food truck in any way.
Mhm.
Would it be beneficial for us to have a downtown Adrian tent just for general purposes? And is this too soon or too close in time to right now to look into ordering one?
We do have the First Fridays 10. It's not huge. It's like 10 by 10, but you're welcome to use that
Okay,
since it is First Friday.
it is the right day and everything, so,
Yep.
And Drake, are you asking like a Main Street tent? That's what you're asking them?
yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was catching too. So, and I want to make sure that we fine tune and are good with their logos and the way we name ourselves and all that before we start buying promotional
Yeah,
items.
figure out.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
So we're
maximum
branded
use of it.
correctly.
But I do agree, we're gonna want tents, banners, everything when we get to that point.
Yeah.
So to his point, are we going to privately provide the funds for this, or are we going to?
I was gonna have to entertain a motion of like $500 cap for him to get to work.
I'm sorry?
A motion I wanted to get for about $500 cap for you to be able, so you don't come out of pocket with that, but we would fund that.
Okay. Now, are we just gonna set,
I'll make a motion for $500 to do that.
There's a motion for $500. There's support.
Support.
There's support. Nevany. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. David, thank you again for your great work on that. And thanks for getting the college students involved. That'd be good.
yeah.
And it is.
Like I said, I don't think we need more than 4 students.
Okay.
What time's is the ceremony?
7:30.
Starts at 7:30.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we say we're open at 5:30, it'll be slow in the beginning and then people will, slam down from First Fridays all the way down there. And once they know it's for free, it's giddy up,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but I think, we need to,
I like it.
I'll have to talk to Brett and hopefully I just
We
Didn't
don't
force-
need insulated dark cups for that. Just-
Yeah.
I hear those are-
Well, Brett donated, yeah, I know. Brett donated the coffee cups to me
Oh,
a
he
couple
did?
years ago, so.
Yeah.
So Don just volunteered a couple tents as well. Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Don.
And so well, I mean, if I really would prefer just to set up on College. If it's
Alright.
closed, if the parade route's not there, because it's right there and it has a beautiful view, and there's gonna be a ton of people right there. If we can just set up on College.
And so maybe even if you had your food truck as a place for storage and. a
Just
tent,
storage only.
Storage only,
Yes.
and then,
Mhm.
put cover over the culvers. Just kidding. All right, gotta get a little coverage.
Okay.
All right, any other DDA matters for this board today?
I just have a question
Yes.
about, we have a member, and it was really only brought to my attention because they didn't respond to the survey. We have a member who's really non-participatory. And is there a protocol for removal? Is there a process for that? Or is that something this group even wants to take on? Do we?
And then right, you give the chair the information, the bylaws call for the chair to contact them in writing, and then. So the bylaws very specifically set forth what was requested by the membership, a very kind commentary in the process to notify them. So I don't know who you're referencing, but if you'll give that information,
Okay.
take care of that. Don't you agree?
I agree.
That's the process we put in the bylaws, and it's very nice and
Thank you.
thoughtful.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And Jerry, I'm gonna just let you know, I found mine in spam along with a bunch of emails from Dusty. Greg and I are having a problem at City that a lot of our emails are going to spam and we don't know this. So we're not knowing that we're having emails coming. So I found it like yesterday, a little late, but I'll still go in and do it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I found a lot of my emails going to spam. It probably should be going to spam.
And actually, what I will be doing with that instead of just chairman is that, all of us are at the pleasure of this person right here, the appointment of our mayor. So we've written joint letters when that happens. And so we'll do the same.
Yes.
Just do it
Really
the
nice
same.
process.
Yeah. So we'll communicate with them together. All right. Any other DDA matters? Board member comments?
I'll say something. I just want to give everybody a little update on my building, just
Yeah.
because of the fact that,
Yeah.
you might see some crazy things happening there, like, looks like I'm destroying it, but it will be built back better and new.
Oh.
So yeah. If anybody asks you, I'm also not painting it white, that's primer. Okay.
Well done. Really, really well done.
Awesome stuff.
Also, I just want to congratulate Mayor Heath on her reelection.
And new job. Full-time job, whatever, other job. They're all.
And thanks from Sienna Heights
Thank
for
you.
everything you've done.
Yeah, so those that don't know, I am now the executive director at Adrian Community Preschool. And so part of when I was interviewing, that was the caveat that I said, I cannot be there on once a month, Wednesday mornings, because I will have DDA if I'm reelected. And they agreed to that. So because this is a little bit more of a job where I really have to be set hours, there, but very excited. But this week I'm working both jobs because I'm finishing out at Sienna and working at the preschool. So that's why I'm a little quieter today, because I've been doing 14-hour days, but yeah, so thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Great. Any other board comments? Entertain a motion to adjourn. There's motion or support. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.